Welcome, everyone, to the Sickos Committee podcast. Let me try it one more time because I hit that really weird.
It sounded the same way it always does.
Really? I feel like I went, welcome! Welcome, everyone!
Voice crack.
You should start doing that.
Welcome.
Welcome, y'all, to the Sickos Committee podcast.
Yeehaw!
This is the rootinest
Howdy do.
podcast you've ever done saw. And now we're going to start with a 30-minute discussion of European politics and music.
Neither
Eurovision
rootin'
is
nor
explicitly
tootin'.
non-political, Jordan.
Eurovision's non-political. They made it very clear this year it was non-political. Commish is already sweating. He's already sweating with us just like nuzzling up against this topic. It's great. I love to watch him squirm. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
As always, folks, I'm Jordan. Arthur, use one of those openings. I don't care which one. Use them all. Fuck it. I'm Jordan. With me tonight, I've got Commish, Pitt Girl, Beth, and Arthur on the ones and twos. Pitt Girl, how are you?
I'm good. I will be joining my landlord's war on squirrels in the backyard, which I was resistant to doing. But obnoxiously, Pit Boyfriend and I put out our baby tomatoes in buckets yesterday, and the squirrels ate 2 of them already. Little baby, they murdered my babies. I'm very sad.
So now we're going to go all genocide on this thing?
Yep. Yeah. Open jihad on the squirrels.
Inshallah. Beth, how are you?
I'm great. The busy season is over.
Hooray!
Yay!
Hooray. Now, see, it's just summer band season. That's the fun one. Now you're just playing at VFW halls with a bunch of the old folks.
Pretty much.
They're going to get you a fitted polo this year?
No comment.
Only the boxiest and scratchiest.
The boxiest, scratchiest, baggiest polos.
Yeah, I mean, now that we're in summer band season, you guys will get to see me show up in like a band uniform randomly on Sunday nights.
Hell yeah. Commish, how are you, sir?
Good. Just a relaxing weekend. Nothing too crazy happening. Just had some fun. I'm not engaging in squirrel war or anything like that. But I'm
that
ready.
Was squirrel jihad, I believe.
To be clear, this is ethical squirrel jihad. We catch the squirrel. The landlord catches the squirrels in no-kill traps and releases them somewhere else.
All right. Good.
Someone else's squirrel problem.
Yes.
I just want
the landlord would like to invite you to Lake Laogai.
Yeah. Uh huh. Commish, we gotta get you to watch Avatar.
Yeah, that joke was not for Commish.
No, it's fine.
Again, I'm just enjoying the weekend, so
good.
Nothing really too crazy this weekend. So I was like, do I have a good story? I was like, no. I mean, the kiddo did great in swim lessons. He moved up a level.
Ooh.
He got to ring the bell and yell in front of the pool, which is this pool's like kind of like in a strip mall.
Yeah, that's so bizarre to me, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Pennsylvania contingent's turning their heads. Around here, all the swim schools are in strip malls.
Yeah.
And so you go in and there's like a little it's a heated pool the kids can swim in 24 all year round.
Yeah.
The parents have like a little area.
Uh-huh.
I know. So that's not how I learned to swim. Clearly.
I'm just baffled by the concept of strip mall pool.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
I mean,
so
this
understand
is a nice
that
strip mall.
Indoor heated pool, as far as like civic place to go swim, that is much more common up here than the alternative, because
that makes sense. Okay,
yeah, for real obvious reasons. So like that doesn't trip me out, but the whole idea of like, well, I'm gonna go next door to the dress barn and go swimming, that breaks my brain.
It's exactly what it is, though.
Yeah, basically. I think like next door is like a Nestle Toll House cookie place. And then I'm trying to figure out what else is next to it. There's like restaurants. There's a massage.
Mine's next to like a Supercuts.
There's like one of
End
those.
stage capitalism is a hell of a drug.
Isn't it bizarre? Yeah, isn't it crazy? Yeah.
The thing about this place is like where the parents sit is fine, but like the kiddo wants me like right next to him in the lane in the pool. And
but you see, mine won't let me go in. I have to be behind the glass.
They let me go in, and so I'm in. This is like 1,000% humidity.
It is.
It's just it's like a sauna in there, but it's not a sauna. But it is the worst. So I'm like trying to like I can't go in the pool. And I'm dying here. I'm like, yeah, he did the backstroke. I'm like, yeah, I'm sweating. I'm like, oh my God, man, what is going on? And like, once it's over, it's nice. I'm like, oh, let me get out of here. But it's just that much humidity in that tiny of a space is just, it's not good.
See, when it comes to strip malls, right? Like, you know how there are places where it's like, oh, that used to be a Pizza Hut?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, are there places just like, I don't know, random establishments that it's like, oh yeah, that used to be a swim school? Like, can you tell that there used to be a pool like in where there's now like, I don't know, like a dental office or something?
I wonder, because clearly these places aren't going to last forever.
No.
I have an idea.
Go for it.
So Pennsylvania has pretty liberal brewery laws, and there are breweries fucking everywhere. And there are some that are very good that are in strip malls. And I would like to propose that some brewery somewhere in Texas open in a former swim school, drain the pool, and turn it into a conversation pit.
Oh, yes.
That's a deep ass conversation pit.
Conversation trench.
Conversation chasm.
This one that I have, like where I go to, like the pool's just like barely 4 feet deep, so the whole pool is just 4
conversation pit.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
You could do that. There's like stairs.
Yeah,
There's
now that I say it, I think my kids is the same way. Y'all, I wanted to mention that when I grew up in South Texas, there was, everyone went to the public pools to go learn to swim because that's what you did back in the 80s and 90s. And ours was sponsored by Goldie and Gus, which were two mascots. I'm going to drop Goldie and Gus in the chat. I'm just going to want some reactions for Goldie and Gus there.
Oh my God. What?
I
didn't think it was possible to put HR Puff and stuff in drag, and I've been wrong all this time.
So it's incredibly HR Puff and stuff. This has to have come from like the 70s or 80s. I do have another version of Goldie and Gus. There was a worse version, by the way. That's in the chat. Dropping that now.
Is there a worse version? Oh
no, there is a worse version. I was about to be deeply, I still am deeply horrified by good version Goldie's mascara / eyelashes.
I don't know how to describe it, but the bad version like looks racist to me.
It does.
Like
it does. It's the large red lips, and it feels uncomfortable.
Yeah, like you gotta. I don't feel comfortable trying to describe this photo, but if you're in our Discord, you can see it in the channel. And
shout out to Bo Jackrabbit.
It's sort of a half Mr. Limpet, half Yip Yips, but mostly lips kind of thing.
Yeah.
Perhaps we could call them lips.
I gotta give Bo a shout out in the chat. But I wish we wouldn't.
Yeah, his quote is, "Jordan, are you okay, sir? This is abnormal even for your standards." Yeah. So this is what I grew up around swimming. This was my swimming mascot, y'all. And
yeah, this explains a lot. Actually,
apparently it's from El Paso, and like my local folks didn't even make this. They licensed this.
It was a
license.
They
saw this package and they were like, "Hey,
yes,
we're going to license this from
El
El
Paso."
Paso."
How do you wake up in the morning and decide that you are going to license that? I don't think even we would do that.
Oh, good. Someone's selling bootleg retro Gus and Goldie shirts. This is what the shirts used to look like.
Jordan, I think you need one of those.
I kind of do. Except they came in Gus and Goldie colors because there are two genders in swimming, Gus and Goldie.
Well, what this is telling me is that we should have a business where we create mascots and license them.
I like this.
Okay.
Sicko's House of Bespoke Mascots.
Yeah, we can make mascots.
Anyways,
this
is Gus and Goldie. This is what I grew up swimming around. If you ever wonder why I have issues with water, sure. Hey, Pitt Girl. You want to talk about some Eurovision Song Contest?
I do.
So, can we... First off, if you did not watch Eurovision, what's wrong with you? The final was the usual mess of chaos and strobe light, and my wife having to look away saying, this is giving me a headache.
Yes. Yeah. Do not watch Eurovision if you are at all sensitive to flashing lights, because That's a lot of flashing lights, man.
But Switzerland won.
Yay!
One of the songs that I was very okay with winning. Commish picked it to win. And I was super happy with that. It was a jury favorite. You'll remember that the juries, which are five members of media that vote on behalf of the country, are 50% of the vote, and everyone else calling in is the other 50% of the vote. And Switzerland was a jury darling. It won almost every jury. And the singer Nemo, who goes with they them pronouns, who absolutely just killed it between a little bit of opera and a little bit of rap and great staging.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end, one of the most like beautiful moments, the Irish singer, I forget what the name of the song is. Crown the Witch?
No, that was her. That was their tagline.
Right.
The artist name is Bambi Thug. They also use they them pronouns. I do not remember the name of the song though.
It's very like
spooky,
twisted, dark. Yeah.
Doomsday Blue.
Sure.
Yes. Thank you.
And at the very end, Bambi Thug has a crown that they were going to use to crown the witch, and they give their crown to Nemo after they win, and they go on stage and perform the recap, the encore. That's the word. Wearing the crown of like thorns. It was beautiful because Nemo's wearing like very pink frill kind of thing with this like metal ass crown. It was glorious.
Yeah, very good. Nemo also broke the trophy during the encore.
Slammed it down, broke the base.
Just broke right off it snapped because it's a glass microphone and it snapped right where you would expect it to snap.
So like all broken bric-a-brac, it needs to move onto another trophy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
What else did you find about the Eurovision Song Contest, Pitt Girl? Because you were watching it live with me.
Yes, I watched the whole thing. I thought Estonia was good. I thought Finland was justice for Finland, for whom we voted.
Yes,
we spent $1
I
to
spent
vote
$1.
for Finland.
I'm going to be using $1 from the Sickos Committee account to vote for Windows 95 man.
It feels appropriate.
It was great.
It does.
It should not have come in as low as it did. That was painful to me.
No, I understand why the jury didn't like it, but I really thought they would get more out of the fan vote. Because that was delightful, and the staging was hilarious.
Was hilarious with him being birthed from the egg and then doing is that Austin Powers 2 where he's naked and they keep covering him up? I think it's the opening to Austin Powers 2 when he finds out that his first girlfriend / wife is a fembot, and then he goes dancing to whatever the bossa nova is, and they're covering up his genitals as he's walking with like arms and like things like that. It was basically 3 minutes of a music video with them trying to cover up a flesh-colored thong.
Mm-hmm.
Beth is just like glazed over.
Art.
This is
honestly
art.
Yes. And again, further evidence that Finland is cold Florida. Don't at me. I'm right. I would also like to take this moment to.
I've seen Van Helsing in both Finland and Florida, and yes, I can confirm these were very similar experiences.
There you go.
See? I would also like to take this moment to appreciate the UK's submission, which got a resounding nil point from the fan vote. But I really enjoyed it, because the staging is really good, and somehow the song was terrible, but the staging and just the music video-esqueness of it was somehow like even more homoerotic than you would expect from Eurovision.
It was so homoerotically charged. I was like getting flustered.
Yeah.
It was lots of boxing dudes and it was a lot. I can't believe it got 0 points from the televote. That blew my mind.
It deserved at least some televote points.
So Croatia and Switzerland, and along with like France and a couple other, were really close at the end. In fact, There was only about 40 points separating Croatia from Switzerland. Croatia was the fan vote favorite by a long shot.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to our dude, Baby Lasagna.
Yes, our good Croat friend, Baby Lasagna. There was only one country that gave fewer than like 8 points to Switzerland combined between the jury and the televote. 24 points is 12 and 12. And the only country that gave Switzerland fewer than 5 votes was Croatia. Croatian juries gave Switzerland 0 points. And this is like, Beth, it is a absolute great musical moment. Like, he's a great singer technically. And for the Croatian juries to go, nope, bullshit, this is awful, garbage, is so, we know this is our competition and we're not gonna let this happen. And that all the Croatian people,
this is hating ass Croatia.
And like all the Croatian people, same thing. Like, I like this, but we're not voting for this. And the other best one is that, did Switzerland do this to Croatia? Nah, Switzerland gave Croatia like 20 points. The Swiss had no problem with it, but Croatia just like hate and ask. Oh, it's so good. That's the kind of voting I like. And you know what? Cyprus and Greece did not vote for each other for 12 points, which is bonkers because historically that has always been the case.
Yeah, I mean, Cyprus and Greece were both fine, but kind of mid, and so I can see how that was a little bit more likely to happen.
Even when it's been mid or bad, usually that's been like attached at the hip. So that was a huge thing.
Before we move on, I do want to take a second to talk about France also, because France did really well with the jury, and deservedly so, even though I thought they were boring, because the singer is really talented and did this whole thing where he like walks away from the mic and then is just projecting and is still loud as hell.
It's Beth,
and that was
so
cool.
good because he's singing. Background audio drops. He sings it a cappella, comes right back in on the correct note when the music comes back in. I was so happy. Not even like a warble off. Just dead, saying about 20 seconds unaccompanied and came right back in on pitch. Like, beautiful. What more do I want from a singer? Holy shit. That's amazing. So yeah, I agree with you, Pitt Girl. It didn't have the juice. It came in second with the juries, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, France and Portugal both very technically talented, good song, whatever, but like not what I'm looking for from Eurovision. Please give me like Estonia rapping and the Jort's egg.
Yeah, the Jort's egg, or the non-binary kid on a giant wheel.
Yeah,
or the witch or anything. Don't be boring.
Yeah, or Norwegian symphonic metal. Like, give me more.
They came in dead last.
They deserved better. They were good.
They came in dead fucking last.
Justice for Norway.
Justice for Norway. Anyways, Eurovision is always this beautiful, chaotic mess. If you know what else happened this weekend, you know that there was more chaotic mess to it. But thank you for following along. Thank you for I think we only lost about 40 followers this time due to Eurovision, which is way fewer than usual. So thank you for that. I promise we'll shake more of you when I go hard on handball in like 2 months. Commish, any Eurovision thoughts from you? I know this isn't your jam.
I mean, I just called the winner. You already said that earlier, so thank you for giving me credit. I called the winner when we heard all the songs. I'm like, this is the winner. And I was correct. Feels nice to be vindicated.
Are we all going to Zurich next year?
Or
Bern, sure. Or wherever they're going to have this thing. That's the problem with Switzerland, is that there's too many cities that you can use.
Switzerland City.
I'm just thinking about going to Eurovision and then just eating so much Swiss chocolate.
Oh, yeah.
Let's do that. That sounds like a business expense.
That's absolutely a business expense.
It's a very expensive business expense.
What? Hey, you know what, Beth? As chief financial officer, I think.
No, I'm not.
No, I think I am.
Oh, okay.
So I think it's fine. This is the worst run corporate. Good thing it's limited liability. That means they can't arrest me 2 times, right? That's what limited liability means.
No double jeopardy.
Yeah, is that double jeopardy? I don't know.
Sure.
You can't arrest me.
That's not what that means.
You can't arrest me for being CFO and CIO. Okay. That's what
I think they're probably gonna have Eurovision in Geneva.
That would be good. You know what? That's the problem, is that there's too many Swiss cities. Hey, Switzerland, problems I have with you. 1, too many cities. 2,
really?
Romansh is a weird language. No one should have to speak Romansh. 3, you still use the Swiss franc. That's weird.
Okay.
4.
I mean, of course they do. They refuse to join the EU. That's like their whole thing. They do Schengen, but they don't do any of the other things.
So
I mean,
yes, that
whatever.
was Eurovision. It was.
So I like the aspect of this. Like, you win Eurovision, you get home field advantage next year.
Mhm.
I like that. That's nice.
Yeah, and you get an auto bid to like advance to the
Oh,
finals,
yeah,
as
auto
did
bid to the
Sweden,
finals.
who was fine.
They had what, the 17-year-old twins? They were fine.
Yeah, they were fine.
I feel like they get like a forever pass for creating ABBA at Eurovision.
Oh, let's talk about what they did to poor ABBA.
Oh,
let's talk about
God.
what they did, because
what has happened to our beautiful boys?
So they have to have time for everyone to vote and to tally votes. So they have to have interval acts after all the things are done. And so they're like, the host, by the way, we're great. Petra Merda is like one of my favorite people on earth. She's great. And so they come out and they go, we've reunited a band, a disco band that starts with A. And they bring out, is it Alcazar? They apparently had a hit called Crying at the Discotheque in like 2001.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And so they're like, no. Okay, that's not, you can't say that. People thought you meant ABBA. And then they brought out CGI ABBA. Yes.
I have an important update on this because yes, they brought out CGI ABBA, and obnoxiously Pit Boyfriend and I were watching this and we were like, what? Oh, this is horrifying. This is Uncanny Valley. And I looked this up on Wikipedia because obnoxiously Pit Boyfriend was like, are they dead? Is that why they're doing this? They are not.
No, not dead.
From the end of the very topmost section of their Wikipedia page, this is the last paragraph. Quote, in 2016, the group reunited and started working on a digital avatar concert tour. Newly recorded songs were announced in 2018. Voyage, their first new album in 40 years, was released on November 5th, 2021 to positive critical reviews and strong sales in numerous countries. ABBA Voyage, a concert residency featuring ABBA as virtual avatars, opened in May 2022 in London. So this wasn't even just a Eurovision thing. This is how ABBA is performing now.
I have dropped virtual ABBA in the chat. It, like, if you make it bigger, the Uncanny Valleyness really takes off.
And there was also like Uncanny Valley CGI crowd for this.
It was really bizarre. It was really just, I didn't like it. No, thank you.
Yeah, like this looks kind of okay as a still. It was very not okay in motion.
They had to do this because this was the 50th anniversary of ABBA winning with Waterloo.
Mm-hmm.
And it was in Sweden, and they wanted to make this a big deal. There were so many better ways. They did great. To sing Waterloo, they brought out 3 like great Eurovision divas, including Conchita Wurst, and it was great. Don't do whatever this was. No, thank you. Hard pass. They did open up the whole show with "Hooked on a Feeling."
It's just odd to think that I've performed more ABBA live than ABBA has since 2016. That's a very weird feeling to
guarantee that's the case. Yes, there was a lot of ABBA, like weird like bits and pieces in here. They used what's the lick from "Gimme Gimme Gimme," which is one of my favorite like little
yeah, that have played that lick if you couldn't tell.
the other one that was funny was they were playing Swedish songs written by Swedes as people were coming in, and they used the song "I Don't Care, I Love It."
Mm-hmm.
And my wife turns to me and she goes, "Charlie XCX isn't Swedish." It's like, Charlie XCX didn't write the song. It like all music nowadays, it was written by 8 Swedish dudes who control all music we listen to. Commish, can I start putting out conspiracy theories on this website? Because I got conspiracy theories about the Swedish music scene.
You mean the Swedish House Mafia, not that one?
Not that one, yes. The Swedes control the world right now, okay? This is my pivot to House Jones.
Like, I mean, something. So this podcast could be like, in a different location shortly, and this may have changed in this situation, and you're really pushing the envelope today.
I am with my Swedish conspiracy theories,
and the beginning of the podcast too. So it's just like, okay, I see.
Oh yeah, all over the place.
I mean, begin as you mean to go on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you love me at my best. Fine. We'll talk about things that are less interesting. No, I'm just kidding. Let's talk about how Commish was wrong about something.
Yeah, I own up to my wrongness.
Commish,
that can happen.
Admit to your wrongness. Go.
I do have to admit to the wrongness. So, like the video that we put out about the Snoop Dogg Bowl, I confidently said that marijuana was not legal in Arizona. Apparently, it is. It just started at the end of 2023. What I misinterpreted was that it was illegal to smoke in public, not illegal to smoke. I missed the part of in public, but it is illegal to possess, use. So, I mean, we may actually get an edible mascot in the Arizona Bowl, the Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl. So
you can't smoke in public, but you can smoke in private? Or is this
Yes.
just possess and use, and you can have your little pet marijuana plant, but you can't smoke it?
No, you can use it. It's just that you can't do it in public, which the Arizona Bowl, I think technically would be public, but I don't know. Maybe
it's a ticketed event on private property.
That's what I'm thinking.
Maybe. Tucson may have some sort of special waiver because there's bats in this, stadium. So, I mean, maybe there could be...
private event is any event for which admission is restricted by invitation, ticket, or guest list, or by other exclusion of the public from the event.
It could happen. So
thanks, Black's Law Dictionary.
Yeah.
Of course you went there, you nerd.
And I was wrong. I own up to my mistakes. That's right.
I did suppose to a friend of mine, Pitt Girl, the idea of a French maison, but for weed and not like a wine tasting. Mm-hmm. They're like, you know what? That's not the worst idea in the world.
TM. This is our idea. Don't take it. Get in, losers. We're moving to France.
Yeah, we are. After we move to Shreveport, but not that one. The one we're founding.
Shreveport. Yes. We're gonna take Shreveport, Pennsylvania, and we're gonna push it over there. It's fine.
We're gonna be Shreveport, the Basque country.
Yes.
No one can understand what anyone's saying.
Yes. Oh. Yinzer Basque.
Jesus Christ, that's cursed.
You're welcome.
I've been on this podcast and I've said before that I really like the Basque drink Coke and red wine. What could you add that would make it more Yinzer? Besides a handful of fries.
Iron City.
Yep.
Iron City
and red wine. You're welcome.
Okay, that sounds like something we got to do next time we all get together. Wonderful.
And you just float a pierogi on top and you nailed it.
Done.
A pierogi floater is something I've never considered.
What would we call this? Like the red wine in Iron City?
Listener, we're all pondering.
We're all just like pondering, like all of our faces like tilted up, like the dog thinking. just like everybody.
Put a note in the chat if you have a good name for that.
Okay,
we're listening, Pitt fans.
Okay, before I go on, before Ben yells at me, I do need to announce some NCAA champions that have passed by soon. First off, D3 men's volleyball, Cal Lutheran won that. D1 men's volleyball, UCLA won, I believe, for the 5th time in a row. For beach volleyball,
was it UCLA or USC?
Beach volleyball was SC.
Okay, all right.
Let me double check before volleyball. I get... God, please don't do this. Yeah.
Oh, come on. They're basically the same thing.
Oh,
exactly.
USC and UCLA? Yeah, they are basically the same thing.
I mean, there's
UCLA wins the men's volleyball D1 title.
Okay.
The other one was the beach volleyball title.
Beach.
Which is what USC won and repeating on that.
And
currently going on right now is the women's water polo championship. And the final match is between Cal and UCLA, I believe. What your typical Big Ten ACC showdown.
Yeah.
We've been trying to figure out where everyone's going to stash beach volleyball next year, because the Big Ten does not sponsor beach volleyball. Surprise.
Yet.
I mean, they'll have enough teams to do it. But apparently they're going to stash, except for the Big 12 members who are going to move their beach volleyball to the Big 12, which does sponsor it. they're going to put them in one of those like weird MISC conferences that are like, oh, we got water polo, we got women's ice hockey, and we have track and field or whatever.
I do like the idea of the Big Ten starting to sponsor beach volleyball, though, and then we've got like outdoor beach volleyball in Minneapolis, Minnesota in February,
mm-hmm.
and they're playing in parkas.
So there you go. There's our NCAA.
The women's water polo championship is at halftime. Cal 2, UCLA 2. Shout out to Marissa and Jemmy, who's actually like live tweeting this right now on our feed. She's a great follow.
There's also apparently a D3 non-NCAA because water polo apparently is a what they call a one division sport in NCAA, but they have a D3 like informal water polo tournament. And I want to tell you guys that the teams that played in this were Claremont Mud Scripps and Pomona. Is it Pomona Pitzer? Yeah, Pomona Pitzer. Y'all, first off, those are 2 schools.
Mm-hmm.
They are 5 schools that combine down to 2 teams. And they're in the same city, not just in the same city, on the same blocks. I'm pretty sure they share a water polo like arena. So the 2 teams that share a city, share the block, also were in the championship together,
that's wonderful.
Which is delightful, right? Like that's just like makes you happy. Anyways, so all that being said, I need to find my show notes again. Hold up, lost it. There we go. The big news this week: Conference USA has another team they're picking up. They are picking up Missouri State. Quick, name something you know about Missouri State.
Bobby Petrino.
They're the Boll Weevils, right?
Nope.
Damn.
Bears.
Say it. Say what you're gonna say though, Commish.
Oh, they're the Bears. I said Bobby Petrino.
What you said before that.
Oh.
That's the one. Yes.
Yeah?
This is where Bobby Petrino got sent.
Oh, okay.
They're the ones that also took Arkansas uncomfortably far in a game.
That's right. They were head coached by Bobby Petrino. It was dangerously leading, like maybe with like 5 or 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
I mean, I think any version of that game was going to be uncomfortable on some level.
Of course. But guess what?
If it
where
involves
Bobby's
Bobby
back?
Petrino, it's going to be uncomfortable.
Bobby's back in Arkansas now as the offensive coordinator.
Bobby's back.
I'm envisioning Missouri State as Bobby Petrino's elbow, and now he's in his 100 days.
God, we got it. Where are we going to send him this time? Where did they send him the second time?
St. Helena?
That's right. Okay, so Hawaii. We have to send him to Hawaii.
We got to send him to like
Anchorage.
a D2 school that is in the same general vicinity as Texas Tech. Like we're going for geographic isolation here.
Christ, it's West Texas A&M, but they deserve better than that.
The fun thing about Missouri State for me personally, Bobby Petrino's son-in-law is the head coach.
Yes, he is
of Missouri State. That is Mr. Ryan Beard, who is married to the daughter of Bobby Petrino, and that's who took over the job. And now he is going to
real fast. Picture that wedding, real fast.
I'd rather not.
Yeah.
Here's my father-in-law, Bobby Petrino. Ugh.
Hello.
Ah.
I will never do Jason Kirk, Bobby Petrino voice again, but I'm glad you enjoyed it.
There you go.
Ugh. I think I have hives.
Oh yeah. Oh, that'll do it.
So the actual details of Missouri State is going to go ahead and so they're going to be a full Conference USA membership effective July 1st, 2025. So they'll be FBS in 2025. In the past 2 years, the Bears have finished 4-7 and 5-6 in the last 2 seasons. After the 8-4 finish in 2021, which Bobby probably propelled himself to the UNLV offensive coordinator position for 3 weeks, and then the one at A&M, and then now he's back at Arkansas. They've only had 2 playoff appearances in FCS. They were in the Missouri Valley Football Conference, so that's very difficult of a schedule. So Yeah, I mean, in the past 30 years, they've only made the FCS playoffs twice. So yeah, I'm not sure.
Conference USA must have had a good offer. Something had to be, like, there had to be a good offer somewhere.
I honestly don't know, but if this engages the Missouri State fan base, if this gets them to go, instead of being like a middling FCS program, having to deal with, North Dakota State, South Dakota State,
getting your shit kicked in every year.
All of the Dakotas, just, I mean, and then Northern Iowa. I mean, it's rough in FCS, but if they can get behind this, because they're ponying up the money, I believe, the $5 million to move up,
right? Because they're the first. Is Delaware or them the first?
No, I think it may have been Delaware, but I'm not 100% sure.
Because they changed it from like it was like 5,000. It was a number that was small enough
very
that I went
minimal.
A number that was small enough that I went like, oh, that's that's literally nothing. But then, right? So
I wish him luck. I do wish him luck.
It was a surprising move. I'll put it that way.
Surprising Friday news dump, honestly. And I was like, Friday morning, I'm like, what?
Even to folks who know these things, this was like a, huh?
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Our friend Matt Brown at Extra Points was like, what? And he knows stuff like that.
But still not the wackiest move this weekend.
No. That was Grand Canyon University and Seattle University moving to the West Coast Conference, which again, Matt Brown, Extra Points, who knows all of this stuff, was just, again, like, what? He was so mad. He was like, I'm about to make a phone call. Can y'all let me know if we can do something like this? This was dropped. It's so crazy.
In case you're not up on your FCS, by the way, guys, here's who's in the Missouri Valley Football Conference. Even if you just follow us, you'll recognize most of these names. Illinois State, Indiana State, Missouri State, Murray State, North Dakota State, South Dakota State, Northern Iowa, Southern Illinois, our beautiful Salukis, and Youngstown State. That is a goddamn murderer's row.
It is. I think
Jesus Christ.
Like 5 of them made the playoffs last year, maybe more.
That's the SEC. I mean, it is like clearly the SEC.
It is. And I think the Missouri Valley Conference now is not going to have any teams in Missouri in it.
No, they won't.
No,
that's not the Missouri Valley.
No,
that's fine.
Yeah, because Youngstown, Ohio, definitely is the Missouri Valley.
Quite, yeah.
It screams Missouri
Call it the
Valley.
Rust Belt Conference. That's
I will not be silenced.
Hey, Pitt Girl, do you want an I Heart Pitt Mom shirt? Because I might make a couple. If you didn't see it today, folks, Rock, the Pitt mascot, had a shirt on and a very like seductive photo shoot. It's a shirt that just says I Heart Pitt Moms.
Yeah.
Rock's coming for your mom.
Yep. Rock the Panther, noted MILF hunter.
Beth, I want to wear one to the next brawl I go to. One that just says I Heart Pitt Moms and just see what happens.
That's the energy you're bringing to your first brawl.
I think so.
It's a choice.
I Heart Pitt / West Virginia Moms?
Oh, no, don't do that.
Gotta pick one. I know. Okay, that's fine. I gotta pick.
A mom divided.
Okay, time out.
Well, there's the episode title.
As soon as he did the split on the shirt, I could only think of the stupid house divided flags. And like, I'm just imagining like a half jersey. It's a mess.
I heart, and it's like half and half Pitt logo, West Virginia logo.
Oh,
moms. That's how you make that.
I'm
shirt.
just going to do it in a very nondescript blue and yellow.
Mm-hmm.
I heart moms, and so everyone, because Pitt colors, West Virginia colors are basically the same.
God,
they used to be closer. They're not anymore.
Okay.
It's basically the same. I mean, West Virginia has that gold and navy blue that they're known for.
Mm-hmm.
And,
gold.
It's
then
old.
Pitt is gold and navy blue too.
No.
Arthur just shaking his head like, oh man, I'm not going for it. That's bait.
Even when the blue was navy blue, the yellows were different. That's not how this works.
That's true.
Can't be the same.
I'm still on split mom. Sorry, it's going to take me a second to come back on that one.
I mean,
Yeah, careful, MILF Hunter Rock. Jesus Christ.
Did we want to break down that Conference USA map that I have in there or no?
Yeah, sure. Let's go back to that. Sorry.
Oh my God.
So I did a post today because I had this locked and loaded. I don't think I ever dropped it. I looked at the number of teams that had ever been in Conference USA. And y'all, almost a quarter of all teams in FBS have been in Conference USA at some point. In fact, when we add Delaware and Missouri State, that total will get to like 24.3%, like almost within rounding of a quarter of all current FBS teams having spent time in Conference USA. It's beautiful.
Don't forget Kennesaw State too.
And Kennesaw State, yes.
Yes.
So, Commish, who did Conference USA start with in 2001?
I love this conference when it was started. In 2001, but it started before that.
It started in like 90 something, yeah.
96, I think, when the SWC went away, Conference USA started because Houston was a founding member.
Yes.
So in 2001, these were the teams in Conference USA. It was TCU, Houston, Tulane, Southern Miss, UAB, Memphis, Louisville, Cincinnati, the Army Black Knights, and East Carolina.
So before you get jumped on, East Carolina didn't come in until like 97. Army didn't come in until 98. So they weren't founding members.
They weren't. No, not all of these were founding members. I didn't.
Also, can we talk real fast that Marquette and St. Louis and DePaul were also in this conference?
As basketball, sure. Yes, they were.
As basketball members.
Yeah. Conference USA was
Marquette basketball. Jesus
it was Christ. Kind of like, the thing, because like when the Sun Belt was created around this time in 2000, I think 1 or 2001. I think 2001, yeah, when it started. Almost everybody like stopped being independent for the most part. And like the Sun Belt at this time, 2001 Sun Belt, I could probably just laugh at what teams were in the Sun Belt then. But it's crazy. But now, after conference realignment, all this crazy conference realignment, this is what the Conference USA is going to be in 2025. So you have New Mexico State, UTEP, Sam Houston, Louisiana Tech, Jacksonville State, Kennesaw State, FIU, Middle Tennessee, Western Kentucky, Missouri State, Liberty, and Delaware.
That is, you ever go into one of those buffet places and it's like, oh, theoretically this is like a Chinese buffet, but they've got like oysters on the cabinet too.
And spaghetti.
Yeah. This is what this feels like, of like, I like these things. I don't know if I like them together, but I like Delaware.
At what point did Conference USA become full-on Conference of Theseus?
Okay, so I was trying to figure that out today. I think when UAB left, maybe, let's see here. Full minors in all sports. Okay. When UAB left in 2023, that was it, because UAB was a founding member. They brought in their football team in 99 when they started. But when UAB left in 2023, maybe when Southern Miss did too, UAB was there a little longer. Yeah. So when UAB left,
Southern Miss was a founding member, and then when Southern Miss decided to leave Conference USA to go to the Sun Belt, that was kind of like that's a little bit of a big move, honestly. I would say, to go from Conference USA to the Sun Belt, because if you would have said in 2001 somebody did that, I'm like, you're an idiot. What are you doing?
That is a wild ass statement.
Yeah,
because listeners, if you weren't around for the early days of the Sun Belt, it was a dumpster fire. In fact, the Sun Belt did not get good until they left a lot of their, I can say this, I went to North Texas, bad teams go to Conference USA. And when it was addition by subtraction by a long shot.
Okay, let me give you the 2001 Sun Belt Conference here.
Oh, this is all right. This is great. Go.
All right, here we go. Arkansas State, they're still in the Sun Belt. That's fine. Idaho.
Yeah. Famous Idaho Sun Belt.
The Cajuns. And ULM mentioned. Middle Tennessee. New Mexico State. And North Texas. That was the conference.
That's it. That's it.
Yep.
That's very belt shaped.
Yeah.
Sure.
That combo.
It's like the sun this way. I have no idea. A diagonal sun? I don't know.
The sun never sets on the Sun Belt.
Kind of. I mean, the Kibbe Dome was in the Sun Belt, so that counts.
That's only because it's somehow locked in a heliosynchronous orbit.
The only reason people know Sun Belt and what teams were in the Sun Belt in Conference USA in these time periods is because whatever version of NCAA you liked the best.
Yep.
That's the one that you have. Because I remember TCU in the goddamn Conference USA because one of my favorite versions was in those years. I love it.
And they never left.
Nope.
Are we excited about the football game? Y'all, I'm really afraid that it's going to be basically just even if it's not a Madden reskin, it's not going to be nearly as technically good as people want it to be. You just have to sort of emotionally get over that, I think.
Yeah, it's going to be hard for the game to live up to the hype. I also don't have a lot of nostalgia for the game. I did not play them as a youth. Except when I was in college, somebody had, I think, an Xbox, and we would play Mascot Madness.
Oh, yeah.
And only Mascot Madness. And it's extra fun if you play with both sides as Stanford, because the tree does not have arms with which it can hold the ball. And so the ball just kind of hovers in front of the tree.
This feels very Wii Sports.
Up and down.
You're trying to strip sack a tree, I think is.
Mm-hmm. It's very good.
Do you think that the game would do better in terms of overall sales and reviews if it was extremely up-to-date, like best football game that has been released, or if it was basically a reskinned version of NCAA 07?
Better if NCAA 07. It would do way better if they just went back to that. Update the graphics, like make the graphics look shinier.
No, exactly the same thing. Just like,
those graphics are hard to look at. If there's a lot of points, those polygons are super jaggy.
I remember
we're
playing.
Just out here throwing the squished octagon.
I remember playing like Bill Walsh football.
Uh-huh.
And it's just like there's teams that don't exist in that game that don't exist anymore. I mean, like Pacific was in that game.
Oh yeah.
And it was just like, you know, the most basic like Sega Genesis game ever. But I've played it. I'm gonna play it again. We'll see what it is. But like the timeline was just nothing but this cover photo, and it was just because it got leaked by the PlayStation Store, and so like EA was like they were surprised
too. Who's on
the
cover? Who's on the cover?
So I mean we got Quinn Quinn Moores, I think is our emoji inside the Discord. Jalen Milroy, Donovan Edwards, Travis Hunter. Looks like Carson Beck. I can see the last name. And Judkins, who is now at Ohio State, which I got to keep reminding myself.
Who's 88 for USC right there?
I don't know. There's no name.
Anyways.
Whatever. I'll get it when it comes out. Whatever. We can, we'll see what it is.
88. This is not helpful. Football.
Nope.
Gave me a bunch of statutes.
Cade Elridge.
Sure.
Okay. I don't know about that. But yeah.
He's a redshirt freshman. I think that's just a guy with a number.
Generic 88. There we go.
So yeah. So
what number? Eights look cool.
Yeah.
This release, and everyone is doing forensic files on this, like enhance.
They're going to drop more stuff. They're going to drop more stuff on Thursday. So and then we'll get release dates and whatever, and then we'll see what it is. But it's just that, oh my god, like the whole timeline just. I couldn't stop scrolling without somebody else tweeting the same picture over and over again. So, of course, I beveled it and made like 5 other graphics.
That is a lot of Big Ten in the distance if you look at the flags.
It is.
Mm-hmm. Ohio State, Iowa, K-State, Michigan, Notre Dame, Nebraska are the ones that I can easily make out.
I love that Nebraska is still getting extremely high billing.
I mean...
I love Nebraska. They got
people still like Empire Strikes Back. Even despite the newest Star Wars movies, people still like Empire. Look, some series just peak very early on. And then they keep going because of, balloons and momentum. I would like to order unlimited soup salads and breadsticks and coaches.
Bread
Anyone
coaches.
do that for me? Because it looks like that the NCAA might allow unlimited coaches with contact with students and on the field. Yes, Pitt Girl?
Beth, I have a holiday season suggestion for you.
Okay.
Gingerbread coaches.
Ooh. I like that.
Oh, I would enjoy doing that.
Can we do like frosting with like headsets?
Yeah.
And then like the play sheet
exactly
over their
know what we're
mouth
saying.
because you got to have the play sheet over the mouth. Nobody
You have to
read
put
the
up.
lips.
You have to set it up with these giant white tarps behind them, so no one can see your cookies.
This is the most insane cookie table
Yeah.
I think I have ever conceptualized. I'm about to make so much royal icing.
Let's do it.
So
Why do you need my industrial mixer? Don't ask.
I'm sorry in advance for all of the dishes that this is going to create, but I regret nothing.
I have this question in my head as soon as I saw the unlimited coaches. What scenario is funnier to you? A team that has more coaches than like half the amount of players on the team, or a coach still refusing to have a special teams coordinator?
That last one's funnier.
Yeah, the second one's funnier.
That last one's absolutely funnier. Having 40 coaches on the sideline and still no one's in charge of special teams.
Still nobody's in charge of special teams. Like just no.
Fuck the kicker.
God,
he'll figure it out.
Special team, who cares? Like it's just like I'm not.
It's gonna be some grad assistant, like how we joke nowadays that don't fire the social media intern, even though large companies don't have that's a real job now. Same thing here of like it's gonna be some poor grad assistant getting paid nothing, who's also now special teams coordinator.
That makes perfect sense. Nobody ever wins or loses a game that way.
No
one will ever get blamed. Split Zone Duo did some, I'm going to call it Sickos Committee-esque research when they dug through and tried to find the handicaps for every FBS head coach they could find. Trent Dilfer at a plus 0.1 handicap. He needs to get off the fucking courses, y'all.
So he was an analyst and then he got let go. And so there was a tweet from Chris Vanini who said that he played 218 rounds of golf in 1 year. So I believe him being that good of a golfer.
That's a lot of golf.
That's a lot of golf.
Did you see who the worst golfer is, according to this?
Well, I mean,
that's right, Pat Narduzzi.
Handicap of 24.6. Fucking yikes.
That is because he is out grinding tape and doing things that are more useful with his time than playing golf.
How much do you think he cusses on the course?
So much.
How many clubs do you think he's destroyed?
Oh
just yeeted into a lake.
Or around a tree over his knee.
Pat doesn't usually yeet things. He just kind of turns purple, and the strength coach has to like do the get back coach.
Yeah, but
guess who's not there?
Yeah, exactly.
That's his caddy.
His caddy.
Get back caddy.
We need hey. Strength coach caddy is now something I need to. Strength coach get back caddy. Someone holding on to someone by like the belt loops.
Strength coach get back caddy is the name of my Midwest emo band.
Narduzzi duck hooks one off of like number 2, and he's just like, the get back coach. Get back to the cart. Let's go.
The get back coach.
Coach, I recommend the pitching wedge here. It'll make it the furthest out into the lake.
I can imagine a get back coach. Pat goes to like overhead, like throw a club. Get back coach just comes in and just grabs it. Like on the backswing, totally calm.
No.
Nope.
I'm imagining a strength coach approaching golf as if they were training their golfer to do the hammer throw.
Mm-hmm. That's your practice.
Yeah.
Driving range. Everyone else is shooting, and all of a sudden you see woo, 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 woo. Someone's pitching wedge get flung. Good job. Okay, that follow through just ain't gonna happen though. You got to keep your eye on it the whole way down.
It makes such a wonderful and a delightful clang as it hits the cage surrounding the ball retrieval guy's cart.
Top golf and just watching someone fucking yeet clubs.
Top hammer throw.
Okay. Top discus javelin hammer throw.
Top and field.
Oh God. The poor ball retrieval guys as javelins are coming by. Poorly aimed javelins. And I didn't get fucking paid
ball
for
retrieval
this.
guy is like 100% wearing like full like Spartan armor with the big shield.
Commish, has Topgolf ever reached out to us? Because we've improved their product like 19 times at this point.
I know.
They have
Top Golf,
not.
if you're listening.
Top Golf. We've had a lot of show titles with Top Golfing already.
We really have. I've never been to a Top Golf. I should
Nor
probably
have
do
I.
that at some point.
We'll be doing this at some point.
I've done it.
How about this, guys? There are 4 FBS teams who are taking 0 incoming transfers in 2024. That is Army, who has 0 in, 9 out. Navy, 0 in, 6 out. Air Force, 0 in, 11 out.
And
Clemson, 0 in, 12 out.
Because they're family, and you can't transfer into the family.
in this, the year of our Lord, 2024, let me tell you, you absolutely can transfer in and out of that family.
You can transfer out in and out of every family. That's the best part
Right.
about being in the year of our Lord, 2024.
Uh-huh.
This is what every Clemson fan is pulling their hair out about.
Dabo's whole idea of found family is like, I found him, so they's family.
I found him, so I'm keeping him.
I wonder how Tyler from Spartanburg is doing with this news.
Preparing his next rant.
I love this thing that like this is now Clemson's thing. This is like before they had like the Clemsoning thing where they would blow the leads or whatever, and then
They still have that.
they still technically have it. I just don't necessarily. You don't see it too often anymore with Dabo. It may show up once in a blue moon, I would say.
I mean,
But-
let's not forget that they lost to Duke on national television to open the season last year.
I mean that
Duke turned out to be good, but it was still funny.
Again, Clemson still went 9-4. They lost 4 games, and then Tyler from Spartanburg became legend around the Clemson parts, inspiring the 4-4 Clemson Tigers to 5 straight wins in a Gator Bowl victory over Kentucky. I believe it was a Gator Bowl victory where Dabo got just obliterated by the Gatorade, and also the
Oh yes.
the sideline reporter too, unfortunately. But this is now Clemson's thing. This is their thing. In the transfer portal era, they are refusing to take folks. And this is like the polar opposite of Colorado. This is like Clemson, Colorado are just the 2 polar opposites in embracing the portal. They're like, one is shunning the portal. The other one is like, we're all portal. So I don't know.
Horrible.
I don't know what works better. I think Dabo likes to recruit, likes that. And then if you leave, it's like, fine. I made a mistake in recruiting. And he won't try to recruit in the portal. I don't know what it is. I don't know how the fans take it. But that's their thing. That's the way they want to do that. I do also want to mention that Michigan, Iowa, and Iowa State are the next lowest with only 3 transfers in. So Michigan had like 22 transfer
What
out.
is this bullshit context? This is context?
Yeah.
I don't want
Give me
context is less funny.
Less funny. Okay. But I'm just saying, it's funny that Iowa and Iowa State are the same. That's funny.
I'm just imagining like Dabo having to explain to people that Herman Melville changed his life and he's now going to be Bartleby the football coach. Like it's hilarious to me the way that he's just ostrich head in the sanding this. He's like the 4-year-old kid with like his ears plugged, refusing to listen. And I part of me wants to see it fail catastrophically just because that is funny. And another part of me wants to see it work because that's possibly even funnier.
Yeah. I think that both of those options are great. I think that as Mr. Tim Gunn used to say on Project Grown Way, use the accessory wall thoughtfully. You should use the transfer portal thoughtfully. I think that there is a way to do this correctly. I think that there's a way to do this, like to plug holes that you have. Like if you're a Pitt mom who needs her holes plugged.
When I'm not making that joke again.
Nope, never do.
No,
So
you can think about it. What I said earlier. That's fine.
But basically, the idea that Dabo like is just so hell bent against this, I don't know what it is at this point besides him just digging in to dig in.
I don't know.
But does it have to be anything more than that?
It's going to be a point for us as the committee, or me personally. I'm fascinated by it. I'm fascinated by the choice. It's a choice that he's making, or maybe there's nobody out there. I mean, I don't know how many people, like, I didn't do the research for years before, like how many they've transferred in previously. I don't know how many, but it's a choice that he's making, consciously making. But again, I don't know if there's somebody they don't see out there, or maybe the transfer market is just like ridiculously overvalued. Like LSU had trouble getting a defensive lineman or something because they don't want to bid the NIL or something. I don't know. Like, I have no idea what the NIL market is, period.
They've brought in, like, I think maybe 5 players in the last 5 years.
Is it possible that Clemson is slow playing their transition into becoming a service academy?
Army,
I mean, they do.
Navy, Air Force, Crusades.
They do play the Citadel a lot, so.
It would just be funny if they were coming for a couple of other schools' crowns and taking on Space Force.
Oh, Dabo, the captain of the Space Force.
Are
they captains?
I don't have no idea.
I don't know.
I don't know what the ranks in Space Force.
One would hope that they would be space cadets.
Oh, there's no way. I wish. There's no way they did that.
It would be really disorienting, though. I mean, you go to Clemson and all of a sudden one day you realize that you are in Space Force because you are at Clemson.
Is it a space grant school? I mean,
I feel like everywhere is a space grant school.
Yeah, ULM is a space grant school. That's what you learn.
They are land grant only.
Land grant, okay.
Not a space grant school, not a sea grant school, not an air grant school, there's sun grant schools.
Everything changed when the fire grant schools attacked.
Mm-hmm. We don't hear much about the education system in the Fire Nation.
Like, you weren't lying. Like, everywhere
there's
a
whole episode set in like a school in the Fire Nation, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, actually, you know what that is.
Yeah.
While Commish is looking up other space, other space grant
Clemson
things.
in the Fire Nation? Is that where you were going with
that,
Commish?
Why not? Yeah. Are they?
Is there Dabo trying to get back his fucking honor? Holy shit, that's what this is. Dabo's trying to get his honor back. This is going to be another 8 seasons of this.
Oh man, but no, Zuko doesn't deserve that.
There's only one school in South Carolina that is a space grant school.
8-Ball doesn't deserve that.
What is the space grant school in South Carolina?
The College of Charleston. That's it.
Okay.
That's it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to our friends at the Big Sky, by the way, who did their track and field competition this weekend in Bozeman.
Yes.
Snow.
It was nuts. I was watching a bunch of it.
It was like blizzarding snow. It was
my
piling
kiddo,
up.
My kiddo loved it. Like, he loved watching this. Like, it you know, like, anytime there's a snow football game on, it is on. But I've never come across snow track and field before. And it was on the TV, like, almost all weekend long. It was nuts. It was awesome.
And who won the Big Sky track and field?
Montana State. They won it for the first time. Home field advantage, snow field advantage, I would say. They won it. The men's team won it. I believe NAU, the women's team, won it again. They're like kind of a little bit of a Big Sky dynasty there on the women's side. But they stormed the track after they won.
Hell yeah.
It was great. Like, the fans stormed the track. I'm like, the fans are out on the track.
I wonder what the Big Sky charges. Because you have to get a discount for going from SEC charges for football, like $500,000, whatever it is. So you have to dial that back to Big Sky prices, but also dial back football prices to outdoor track and field prices. And I feel like that's a $50 storming.
$25 fine.
$25 fine.
Sure.
Just have to pick up your trash.
Yeah.
It's only a $5 fine, but that's only if you're also willing to get beamed by a snowball in the ear.
Okay. What would you ruin on a track, though? Like, you go on the track, like, you know, you storm the field, there's the field, but like, it's just like the rubber track. Like, you wouldn't. I mean, if you steal a javelin, I'm sure those are way more expensive than
someone's
$5.
Wearing like bad shoes, you can dig up a track pretty good. I don't know. But by the time people are storming a football field, the field itself is so destroyed if it's like actual grass that not like you're actually doing anything to it. Anyways.
What would you tear down? Would you like tear down like the pole vault? Or tear down the high jump?
Yeah. Take a hurdle, try to get a hurdle out of there.
Tear down the hurdles.
Do you call them hurdles or steeples?
The steeplechase was nuts because I was like, is the water frozen? It was.
Oh, that's right, because you have to jump into water, don't you?
Jump in the water. I can't imagine like how cold that water was in the steeplechase. It's incredible.
Hypothermia. Yeah. Okay, folks. So that's the first half. Let's go into our ad reads. As always, check out our link tree on Twitter and Instagram and Blue Sky for links to our partners. We also have our Patreon/Discord. For $5 a month, you get access to our Discord, which gives you a chance to chat with us, chat with other sickos about all sorts of things. This week we covered so many things, including Eurovision, but also now we have a role that will ping you every time someone sees that the folks at the Big Texan Steak Ranch are eating a 72-ounce steak. Now that the camera isn't on all the time, it's really bugging me. Because now they just stream on YouTube, but they only turn it on whenever someone's actually trying it.
And you were like, hey, how do I was like, call them, and you were like,
call them,
and you were like, how do I call them without sounding like like a sicko? Like why would I want this live stream up at all times?
Local millennial does not want to make a phone call more at 6.
I know. So right. There's the issue. I don't want to make a phone call, but also the issue of, hey, I like watching people eat your steak. Can you turn the camera back on, please? me and some friends watch your camera a lot and watch people eat steak.
All of our patrons were like giving you scripts to use.
I know.
Like they're giving you suggestions. You're like, I'm not gonna call. I just can't do it.
Oh, because it feels gross.
Don't make
and
me.
And you know
call.
what does that take to make me feel gross? It's the phone. The problem is the phone.
The phone call.
If it were in person, no problem. It's the phone.
Hello, this is the Commish. Hi, Big Tex Steakhouse.
This is the commissioner of the Sickos Committee. A perfect way to start any conversation with the minimum wage employee at the front desk.
I'm just going to call myself the commissioner of the Steakos Committee. And that may work out better.
Wait, is Steakos a new cereal?
Sure, Steakos.
Oh, God.
We're having trouble watching people lick your meat, and it's a problem. It's not a sex thing, we promise.
I want to be very clear. It's not a sex thing. Be super clear. We have as well, if you subscribe to our Patreon and our Discord, you get access to our special podcasts, Commish's Corner, yes, rah, 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 yes. Hey, Beth, you want to record this week?
Yes,
I'll remember this time, I promise. Beth sent me a message on Friday morning being like, hey, almost time to record. I was like, what do you mean? It's been a fucking week, y'all.
It has.
And then Prairie View Chronicles, which is where Commish and Blue are going through the history and the fun of the history of Prairie View A&M University and their football team and their 80-game losing streak in the 90s.
And many indictments.
We have our paid Substack as well, which basically gets you the same kind of stuff, except without the Discord. That's why we use Patreon mostly. Our Sickos merch store is going to be coming back up in the next 2 weeks or so in time for June. We got some fun new stuff there that we're working on as well. So that should be great. We have our YouTube channel. Go check it out. We have our animated videos, our Instagram, our Substack, where Commish has been writing the best season of all time for teams who stopped having a football team. He's working on the University of Pacific now. And this week, he broke down the 6 tiers of FBS to match the English football pyramid, to do a hypothetical promotion relegation in college football.
I had that idea in my head. It like popped in my head and I was just like, okay, let's actually write it out. Let's make a graphic and write it out. Let's make graphics, write it out, see how it'll work. It's not gonna ever happen, but it's like whatever. Let's just throw out this ridiculous hypothetical.
You use S&P Plus, right?
SP Plus, yes, from Bill Connolly. I may do Massey later, but I mean, We'll see.
Also, shout out to Message Board Geniuses podcast. They go to the places we refuse to go. And as always, our longest standing partner, Homeville Apparel. Use offer code yes, ha ha ha, yes, for 15% off your first order of the most comfortable, cozy collegiate apparel. I am wearing a Pitt shirt tonight.
Hey!
Mish is wearing Miami, which is really important in a moment. And Pitt Girl is wearing a Temple hoodie.
Yes. It's very cozy.
It is.
Right. Arthur has a Trailblazers. He doesn't. The home field doesn't have the Trailblazers.
And Beth is wearing a lovely blue blouse.
Yes.
Why, thank you.
Thank you.
Blouses.
Game blouses.
Commish, do you want to talk about the Miami Hurricanes?
Oh, I do. Do I? So, we
Dale!
Mr. 305.
Mr. 305. Funny thing is, I completed this at 3:05 p.m. Central Time. So, like, I completed the research on this.
It's a sign.
It is definitely a sign. Definitely. So, we are moving on to part 9 of 24 for the worst season of all times for teams who are above 600 all time, aka the was so to wow. That's right. So I want to give a shout out to a couple of teams because this was actually kind of difficult to determine. There was not like one giant low point for Miami. There were some spikes in the lowness. So I want to give a shout out to 1944 Miami. They were 1-7-1. I can't award the worst team of all time for being in the middle of World War II. They only played all their games at home.
I will say we often gave teams their best season of all time for being in the middle of World War II, but it does feel bad to do that for their worst.
I don't want to do that. I'm like, they were missing a lot of players, and the situation is just not good. I also want to give a shout out to 1947 Miami. They were 2-7-1. I'm going to say the tie saved them here.
Okay.
I want to give a shout out to 1975 Miami, who was 2-8. And that was the reason why I tweeted the list of the Independence record today for 1975. I'm like, do you just look at this? I'm like, yes, I did today, but I did have a reason. I am not going to, I didn't select them because they do have the same record as 1958 Miami, who I selected, but they lost to 4 top 15 teams, including number 1 Oklahoma, and they still managed to beat a rival Florida State. We can't have the worst team of all time beating a rival because they would still take that season, right?
No,
like
I agree with that. Yeah,
you would say that. So, because really, that win over Florida State counts as many more wins, no matter what the record was. Also, this was kind of like in '75, it was a first-year coach, and then you basically in the second or third week of the season, you have them playing number 1 Oklahoma. This feels utterly unfair to a first-year coach. So, I went with the 1958 Miami Hurricanes. They finished 2-8. I just want to just give you an idea of what Miami's helmet was this year. It was just like yellow. That's what it is. Just a yellow helmet.
The most basic ass helmet I've ever seen.
It's weird that it's yellow.
Yes, it is very weird that it was yellow. In 1959, they added the number to the side, which was black. That's it.
So it was so bad in 58 that they were like, in 59, I know what'll get them excited, the number.
Were they not orange and green then?
You know, that's the fun thing, right? Why were they yellow? I don't know. I'm sure there's an explanation for it, but I don't know. I could not find why they had yellow helmets. I did. Okay. Like, why did Miami have yellow helmets in 1958? Google came up with nothing. So, no idea. So, in 1958, Miami was coached by Andy Gustafson. Gustafson was born in Aurora, Illinois. I am going to pander to Pitt Girl now. As a halfback at the University of Pitt, Gustafson scored the first touchdown ever in Pitt Stadium in 1925 against Washington and Lee.
Woohoo!
After his playing days were over, in 1926. So basically, he was done playing, scored the first down, Pitt Stadium, graduates, done. Now he's the head coach of Virginia Tech.
Boo.
So bam, 1926 to 1929, he compiled a 22-13-1 record for Virginia Tech. Then he left Virginia Tech to be a backfield coach with Pitt again, like his alma mater. Then I am going to pander to Jordan here. He left Pitt as a backfield coach to be a backfield coach at Dartmouth.
Hey,
there you go.
So we got a Dartmouth coach connection here.
That's awesome.
He went to
I can't wait to find out when he went to Teal.
Did not. Sorry, did not happen. I had no pandering to Beth here. So in 1948, Gustafson became the head coach of Miami. Gustafson is considered one of Miami's most successful coaches with a record of 93, 65, and 3. An overall win percentage of 58-7. He led the Hurricanes to 4 seasons of 8 wins or more, was the longest serving coach in school history. So he lasted 16 years at Miami. Can you imagine a coach last that long at Miami now?
No. Even if they won a national title, absolutely not.
None. Right? No, because like Jimmy Johnson wins 2 titles, I'm out. Dennis Erickson wins like 2 titles, he's out. I'm going to the NFL. Schnellenberger left after they win a title. I mean, it's like like Butch Davis left before they even won a title. The only one that tried to stay was Larry Coker, and then he got fired. So, it's crazy. He's in the Miami University Sports Hall of Fame. He also served as the athletic director following his retirement as head coach in 1963 to 1968. This season took place in year 11 of his 16-year tenure, which is a weird time to have a down year. But this was a very weird year. Very weird.
So bizarre.
So the Miami yearbook is called the Ibis. And this yearbook looks like a freaking travel brochure.
It's gorgeous. These pictures are amazing.
It's just like, hey, this
is color photography in 56.
In 59.
Snorkeling.
It's like everyone's
sailboating.
Everyone's a sportsman.
Palm trees.
Everyone's a sportsman at the University of Miami. Miami is often called the playground of the world. And UM students, when they can take the time from their books, take advantage of the university's location. In addition to UM, many organizations organize sports. Miami offers the college goer a multitude of other opportunities for informal fun. And I'm just like, this is
not Cabo. This is in Cancun.
It's, again, there's pictures of like cars racing. I mean, there's like snorkeling in 1959, which looks weird as hell. They're like, Miami has stables. We got stables. You can just go out to the stables and gallop on horses. They love volleyball. My favorite is just the sailing. It's just like
like lots of sailing pictures.
Just lots of sailing pictures, and then like the one where they're like leaning over the boat in color. I just want to put like the words Newport over it, like it's a cigarette ad.
It does look like a cigarette ad.
I think I own the shorts that the woman in the middle is wearing.
You would own those shorts.
Yeah, that tracks.
But I would wear them with. Well, I assume they're wearing Sperry's too, but you just can't see them.
I don't know. I'm trying to look at this one photo, but this seems like, hey, visit Miami, not go to college at Miami.
Right.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. So there's like some more travel brochures, pictures. There's like a sunset and color. Here's the building. This is what the sunset looks like in our library. Look at the sun against the wall here. It's amazing. Here's birds. All right, so enough of that. Let's move back to the football. Here we go. So here's the coaching staff. You see, the coach Gustafson, along with their football managers by the name of Lou Passarello and Jack Putt.
That's a great name. Jack Putt is a great name.
Jack Putt. Amazing. I don't know which one is Jack Putt, but those two football managers look like they got into a lot of trouble in Miami. Mm-hmm. Just going to say that.
Love the Ringer shirts too. Man, whatever that logo is, I wish I had a picture with the logo on the manager's shirts. I really like that.
Yeah, Home Field, can you find it, please, and add that to the Miami collection? Because it's phenomenal. Like the Ringer shirts were great. So let's hop into the season here. The first game, Miami was ranked 15th. Miami was Hurricane preseason hype.
Oh no.
They faced in their first game. They faced number 14 ranked Wisconsin. They got killed 20-0.
Oh, Jesus.
Also, the Wisconsin helmet had the big W in the front of the helmet, and it kind of made them look like Speed Racer a little bit.
Yeah.
It does.
Like the yearbook, like kind of summarized the season in the beginning of this game too. They lost 20-0. It was like do or die opener with Wisconsin of the Big Ten.
And we died.
We died. It was fumbled away, and the whole season seemed to go with it. The game began smoothly, but Fran Kersey coughed up the ball following a jarring tackle, and the Badgers went 58 yards for a score. I was like, oh God, it's just not working out. ULM, I'm sorry, Jesus Christ. ULM mentioned this is weird because like Miami appeared better organized at that halftime break, forcing the Badger defenders to dig in, but really they could not crack the stone wall of the Wisconsin line, and they just got shut out 20-0. So after they lose to Wisconsin at home, I'm still like baffled by these Wisconsin helmets. These are amazing. Like bring them back, Wisconsin. Just a
W
giant
straight in the front. Yeah.
Why don't we have more helmets where the design is on the forehead?
It's usually only the wing helmets. That's the only ones I can think of.
Yeah, I mean you got like Michigan, Princeton,
Dartmouth.
Delaware. Yeah.
No, I love the Wario helmet very much.
It is the Wario.
Wow. I'm a Wisconsin. I'm not gonna win.
They did. They won. Next week they traveled to Waco. They evened up the record with to 1-1 with a narrow win, 14-8 over Baylor. So they went to Waco. They won this one with basically 3:37 left. They took fire. They went 80 yards in 7 plays, and they got the touchdown to take the lead. Which the Music Man Meredith Wilson conducted the halftime show.
Yes,
great nickname.
So Meredith Wilson wrote the show, The Music Man. He was a woodwind player for John Philip Sousa. Some of the hardest woodwind parts in musical theater.
Also wrote
crazy hard to play.
Beginning to look a lot like Christmas, I believe.
I think so. Yeah.
So they got their first win.
This has been Band Corner. Thank you, Beth.
Oh, hey, Beth. He wrote Iowa's fight song.
Hey,
well, okay.
It's a sign.
Sign. Okay, we got to record. Okay, it's fine.
Okay. See, I'm giving you ideas while we record here. Next week, they traveled to Baton Rouge to take on the 11th ranked LSU Tigers. In 1958, if you don't know, LSU went on to win the national title that year.
It was one of those years. Okay.
Yes. Miami was mauled by Mike the Tiger. They lost 41-0. The dejected picture of the Miami cheerleader with their little tiny cannon. It was like, the headline was like, Louisiana State's cannon went off. UM's didn't.
Beth, can you read the name of the cannon?
Touchdown Tommy.
Touchdown Tommy was mournfully silent. Oh, God.
When the Hurricanes lost their second straight Orange Bowl shutout. So,
friends, this cannon, like the cannon that is on top of this thing, looks like it could be a desk paperweight on like a large desk.
It looks like the Purdue cannon. Is the Purdue cannon the really tiny one?
Yeah, that's the tiny one. Yes, the Purdue cannon.
I like how Purdue has a tiny cannon to go with its gigantic drum.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I mean, this cannon is about a cubit long.
It is.
God damn it, Beth. I think how much? Yeah, that okay. Yeah.
Yes.
We're all putting our arms up trying to figure out how long a cubit is.
Cubits do vary.
I apologize that this game was actually in Miami. So they lost this one in the Orange Bowl.
Oh, Christ. They had to watch it at home.
Yeah, that's why the tiny cannon was sad. But
oh, yeah.
LSU that year, had a cannon of their own by the name of Billy Cannon, who ran all over the Hurricanes. So
never heard of him.
Never heard of him. Never heard of all of the indictments he had after his playing days too. So, the Heisman Trophy winner, national champion, LSU, not good. It was their worst shutout since 1927. So they lost this one 41-0. Their worst shutout, and I had to look it up. 1927, they lost 52-0 at home against Howard, Alabama. I was like, who is Howard, Alabama? I clicked, and then it's Samford, the Bulldogs.
Oh.
Huh.
Okay.
So yes,
All grown up.
TIL.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just want to just break in the action here. So Miami's 1-2. They just got killed by LSU. Who's going to go on to win the national title? It says faces in UM's crystal ball. Like in the middle, just look at that face mask.
What
It's
is that
interesting.
Bane ass looking thing?
Yeah, listeners, it's about 3 inches like vertical and made out of clear plastic because I can see the kid's face.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's bolted on through the ear holes.
It's like huge ear holes. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like it's so the guy on the left is wearing the like classic single bar face mask, and then this guy's got whatever this is.
Hannibal
It reminds me
Lecter
kind
asked,
of the like plastic face things that basketball players sometimes wear, but it's like sticking out.
Yeah, it's nuts.
It's like a sneeze guard.
If I unfocus my eyes a little bit, it kind of looks like Scorpion or Sub-Zero is wearing a Stahl helm.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of looks like a baseball helmet that has like a mask that somebody's just coming back from a broken jaw.
Yes.
A little bit to me. So I just wanted to show that. Next week, they flew up to Boston to take on Boston College. I want to give you a 1958 safety alert.
Was it only one? Because I just looked at the final score and I was hoping for more.
Only one. Boston College won the game 6-2. This was apparently this was incredibly muddy. So it says BC slithers past Miami in a sea of mud. The captain of the Miami team, Jim Otto, which you may know, Jim Otto was one of the players on the team, and he played for Miami, and he was inducted in the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1980. But this is him here after the muddy game. Like, he just looks so mad.
He looks like like a Lego man that I have dropped into mud.
He's just, it says jersey obliterated by proper Boston mud. Jim Otto echoes Miami's disgust with defeat in freezing rain and sloshy northern feel. I'm like, that photo did echo some disgust.
Listener, he looks as if he has taken part in some sort of like Looney Tunes Acme gunpowder incident.
Yes.
I assume he got trench foot that day.
It looks like it.
I will say that the little bit of copy that Commish clipped here, Gus unveiled the spread offense in the unfinished Boston College Alumni Stadium, but the fancy plays bogged down and UH had to return to grind him out style of football. Jesus Christ.
So, like, Miami never got over Boston College's 39-yard line, fumbling aplenty in the drizzle. BC made some penetrations on 5 occasions to the shadow of the goal.
Oh, the next picture. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
The helmet. The guy in the helmet.
The guy in the
Scroll
helmet.
Down.
Just
oh, my God.
Mud everywhere. So, in the third period, Joe Pebbles' punt and a penalty put BC to the end zone to kick. The ball squirted over the head of Bill Robinson for a safety. They were up 2-0. They could have won. They could have won the game 2-0. But BC then scored on a 48-yard run. The conversion failed. They lost 6-2. They could have won a game 2-0. Man, could you believe that? If only.
In the mud, in the most anti-Miami weather you could play in.
Yes.
Freezing mud.
Freezing rain and mud in Boston. So then at this point, like, Miami is not doing well on the year already. They are 1-3. The yearbook starts to have the tone of despair setting in at this point.
Uh-oh.
So it says Miami loses to Vandy at home.
Oh.
28-15. So they had Bonnie Yarborough made the debut at quarterback in the final quarter that gave the Orange Bowl fans their first cause for cheer. Vandy led at halftime 28-7. But then Yarborough came in, got a touchdown to make it 28-15 late. The onside kick worked, but the Canes began too late. So down to 1-4. Then they play Florida State, their arch rival. They outgame Florida State, but they lose 17-6. So Bonnie led the attack again, But I love this line from the yearbook. It says, statistics don't win ball games. FSU lost the downs and yardage battle, but managed their first victory over the Hurricanes in 6 meetings. It's like you can just hear the anger in the old school typewriter from this. Just like, ugh, just, God, we should have beat them, but they did not. So again, down they go. They are now 1-5.
Commish, can I read that last paragraph there?
Go right ahead.
Florida State's points came on an unnecessary field goal in the final period, an intercepted pass, and another aerial deflected into Fred Pickett's arms for a 17-6 result. Gus moaned, quote, "What do you have to do to win a ball game?" That is such a, like, as a coach, I don't know what the fuck else I'm supposed to do, y'all.
He threw his hat on the ground, whatever. I love the next game. So, you think the yearbook's going into despair, but then the yearbook kind of turns into like a positive spin machine. Out of nowhere. New names help offense. Score rises in defeats.
Moral victories, everybody.
Oh,
We've reached the point of Cope where we are doing moral victories.
That's right. Love this. Crippled by injuries, the Hurricanes faced the usually tough Maryland Terrapins in what some call the Oblivion Bowl. Since neither team had much to show in the victory column. So I had to look at Maryland at this time.
One step closer to the sweet release of death, everybody.
God.
So
the Grim Reaper Bowl.
Maryland was 2 and they were 2-6 at the time they reached Miami. So yes, the Oblivion Bowl. I love it. So this was Miami had the lead right after the kickoff. However, Maryland came right back. Again, they lose this game 26-14. I love this one coming up here. So they have a homecoming loss to Houston. And this one, again, the score was rising in defeat, but unfortunately Houston's score was still more than what Miami scored.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I am in love with this name. So it is the name for the Miami player. His name is Larry Digiamarino or Digiamarino, which is I don't even know how to say this.
Digiamarino, maybe?
Yeah.
Something like that.
And my old self said it sounds like one of those Pokemans.
Digiamarino.
Digiamarino actually sounds like a knockoff Digimon.
Is there another version of Pokemon I don't know about? Okay, perfect.
My friend. Are there other versions of Pokemon?
Stop. I don't want to know more.
Digimon had a great story.
Next time on the Sick Ghost Committee podcast, the team makes Commish play Pal World.
Oh, no.
What? What is that?
Oh, we're not going to make him play
Pokemon with guns.
Yeah.
Who gave Pokemon guns? They already have.
No, the Pokemon don't have guns.
Oh.
You, the player, have guns.
Am I supposed to shoot the Pokemon?
No.
Oh.
I hope not. I haven't actually played this.
Okay.
It's an MMO. I don't do those.
We could always play a few rounds of Pokemon or Assistant Coach.
Oh, God.
Okay. Put that.
Okay, put that in
we're
the
gonna
off-season
continue
ideas.
that,
That's gold right there, because I will fail every
Strength
single one of
coach
these.
your Pokemon.
Strength coach your Pokemon.
Perfect.
If you're telling me there isn't a strength coach out there named Machop, I will call you a goddamn liar. I'll find one.
That's assuming that Machop isn't a strength coach, which we all know.
Machamp is
Machamp is
strength coach.
Strength coach Machoke got fired. We're not going to tell you why.
No particular reason.
No particular reason.
It was Rabdo.
I was just, God damn it, Beth. Machamp, Machoke, Marabdo.
Okay, I don't know how to move on from that, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it. I'm gonna go ahead and do it. So,
you missed me. You know you missed me.
oh, totally. Welcome
You
back.
did.
We missed you, Beth. So the world's biggest cocktail party used to be Florida versus Miami. I was like, no, it's not. Florida still played Georgia and Jacksonville, but guess what? Miami's going to the Gator Bowl to play Florida.
What?
Yes, they're playing Florida in
Neutral site.
Jacksonville. So they're playing number 14 Florida in Jacksonville. And I'm trying to figure out if it was really cold in Jacksonville because like, you see them like diving everywhere, but I was just like, this field is just incredibly dusty. It seemed like it was a dust bowl. It was nuts. So Florida's ranked 14 and they're facing the 1-7 Miami Hurricanes. This game was a lot closer than probably what it should have been. And the headline in the yearbook was like Bonnie frightens Gators, Bonnie Yarborough in neutral Jacksonville. Now I'm imagining Jacksonville as Switzerland.
In fair Verona, where we lay our scene, in neutral Jacksonville.
Geneva, Jacksonville. But
civil hands making civil blood unclean actually works for Jacksonville. I'm just gonna say.
Instead of the Geneva Conventions, could we call it the Jacksonville Conventions?
That's a whole other set of laws that I'm not feeling.
Yeah,
I don't feel comfortable expanding upon.
I don't know. The Jacksonville Convention is what like made the purge legal.
I don't know why you have to shoot for manatees to do something, but you're required to. I don't know.
Also, you and that gator are common law married now.
What is those in Switzerland? Is it Davos?
Yeah.
Is it the Davos Accords or whatever they call them? Or is it?
Davos is where they go. All the rich people go and like.
Okay. So all the rich people go to Jacksonville now?
Yes. Yeah, we're sending all the rich people to Jacksonville.
They all have like quadruple decker jet skis instead of yachts. It's amazing. It's perfect. But this game was very close. Florida was a 2-touchdown favorite. They picked up only 2 first downs in the beginning periods. One set up a touchdown. After 30 minutes of play, it was 6-0. So Florida was only up 6-0. In the third quarter, Florida fumbled and the conversion was blocked. But then Miami gets a touchdown, so it's like 12-7. And again, we have another 1958 safety alert. Florida takes a safety to avoid losing the game to Miami, and it's a final score of 12-9. So they barely squeak out a 3-point win over the hapless Miami Hurricanes, who are now 1-8 going into the final game of the season.
I know what 2024 vibes would be like in Miami at 1-8. I'm just transposing that vibe to 1956.
Oh God, that's such a rancid vibe.
Can you imagine just? And then if FIU's doing any better,
think about Miami Twitter.
Oh, just think about Commish. A 1-8 Miami year might kill him. Nah, he's much more healthy now. He's okay. He can survive a 1-8 Miami year.
Yeah, ULM seems to have inoculated him from any and all of that.
It's true.
The ULM vaccine.
He's already had he's had old school surgery where it was just ether and biting down on a rag. He's fine.
I've had the Monroe mumps, but
you wouldn't last an hour in the asylum where they raised Commish.
And it's just Malone Stadium. So it's just the giant facade of cement that says ULM.
I mean, you're also like, we're talking about how terrible the vibes would be in Miami at this point. Remember that air conditioning wasn't widely spread yet.
No. Yeah. But I mean, now it's like, at the end of the year. The funny part is when I looked up the 1927 season to see like their score, their first game of the season wasn't until October 29th that year.
Smart.
They played through January 2nd. So like all their games were like November. So like they just refused to play in the heat. They were just like, no, we're not going to play in the heat. So like this season was kind of like normal. It started September 26th. So like they just avoided the entire month of September essentially to avoid the heat. So and then also, I mean, as a Miami student, you can go snorkeling. You could get on one of those boats.
Boating.
Yeah, boating. There's volleyball. It's very popular too. Maybe go to the stables. Whatever. So the final game of the year, they welcome in the Oregon Ducks. So Oregon travels cross-country to play Miami. We got another 1958 safety alert here.
Ooh.
That's a good year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Wee-oo, wee-oo, wee-oo.
That's right. So in the yearbook, it said safety first. Dave Grayson Dave Grayson crosses from left half for a hole at right tackle, but Bill Hayes and Bob Rosebaugh nab him behind the line, and they get a safety. Miami's up 2-0. Bill Poole, big play. He had to swallow the pigskin. So it's
I'm sorry?
He had to swallow the pigskin. That's what it says in the yearbook.
Mm-hmm.
He had to swallow the pill.
Okay.
Are we not doing phrasing anymore?
I'm not allowed to, apparently.
This is what is written in the yearbook. I am just reading it verbatim. You know, I'm not talking about anybody being divided anymore. So here's
a mom divided cannot stand.
Yes, in Miami.
No, she can't.
No, she can't.
She cannot. That is true. She is divided. So
the stories of King Solomon just get more and more confusing.
It's weird, yeah.
They do.
Is that a metaphor? I don't even know anymore.
So I want you to look at this photo here. So people are, like we have the Iowa fan that has his head in his hands when it's like 5-3 over South Dakota State, and he's just like distraught, and it's ridiculous. So they have a photo of the president of Miami, President Pearson, is smiling during this game, and it's 2-0. But I just want you to look at like the rest of the people in this photo.
Oh yeah, no. Macaulay Culkin down in the front is definitely not having a good day.
He's
with
not having a good time.
Mom, I don't know.
That is Macaulay from the movie involving the bees, My Girl. So because there's glasses involved. So
no one in this picture, it looks like they're having a great time at 2-0.
No, except the president.
Love the little kid in the back who's just like, "Can we go home?"
Yeah, and then like the dad is just like, "What am I watching?"
It has big "this is fine" vibes.
Like, the lady
Even
in the front is like
smiling is still like a little bit like
he's not smiling with his eyes. He's not smizing.
No,
he's just like, hey, what am I watching here? I have to put on a good face. They're taking a picture of me.
And he could tell because this was 1958, so I assumed it was they had like giant flash bulbs that fucking cooked the side of his face.
The tripod was like 11 foot tall. They had to get behind the curtain still, I guess.
I don't think that's right, but in my mind, I'm seeing like flash powder in one of those little things they used to hold. I don't think that was the right. I think I'm way off on that.
Not right.
Yeah, this was what, 1958, not 1920.
So
okay.
The headline in the yearbook: 2-0 Oregon. They said it couldn't be done. Miami wins the game 2-0.
Hell yeah!
Who specifically said that couldn't be done?
I don't know.
I didn't.
Know. But it said the odds makers didn't give Miami a chance. But Larry Marino, which Pokemon or Digimon, whatever, this wasn't betting. The sophomore halfback was the favorite receiver of Oregon quarterback Dave Gross and Paul Grover. He intercepted 3 passes to crush their offensive thrusts.
Hell yeah.
Yes, we are not doing phrasing in the Miami yearbook. We're talking about offensive thrusts. So Bill Poole sacked him, which I said, that was it. That was all the scoring in the game. 2-0. To end
That's all you need.
Worst season of all time. To end the worst season of all time, they win 2-0. I was upset that they didn't beat Boston College 2-0, and BC won that game 6-2. But at the end of the season, they win 2-0. So it may be their worst season of all time, but it had an incredibly sickos ending. So after this, they were just like, hey, don't worry, Miami fans. The undefeated freshman will save you next year.
How'd that work out?
I don't know. 1959 wasn't too bad.
Their schedule
was 6-4.
This freshman schedule, please read it because this is a hell of a schedule.
I love the schedule. So Miami versus the opponent. The first game they had against was Mexico Polytech.
That is the National Polytechnic Institute, I believe, now called
that. Then they had Florida State and Florida. Miami was 2-0-1. They tied Mexico Polytech. They beat Florida State 44-6, and they beat Florida 20-8.
Hell yeah!
So the only team that did something was Mexico Polytech. And so here we go. I got some fun, random, assorted yearbook picks for you, so we can start commenting on that. That's the end of the season.
I love Sebastian.
Yes.
I love old Sebastian mascot because they clearly did not know what an ibis head was. Like an ibis was.
Nope. I was like, this is for Jordan. Here's Sebastian. I wanted to say the captain of the varsity team being talked to by the coach. Like, just look at the captain of the varsity basketball team. Just look at that energy.
With the body language of like a 12-year-old being told to do
not
his dishes.
hearing it.
No.
Do
I have to?
Can we go back to the Sebastian that's next to that, though? Because
Yes.
that Sebastian is wearing spats.
Oh, right. Sebastian's wearing spats. You know
Birds with spats.
Do we know why he's called Sebastian?
Birds don't have spats.
No.
Scrooge McDuck does.
Wow. Off the top rope.
Oh.
Let me tell you. He's called Sebastian because the guys that made him were invented by kids who lived in San Sebastian Hall. And so he was called Sebastian.
Commish, I love the caption under the next Sebastian one that says Sebastian the Ibis was seen in 2 football moods, fighting and fretting.
Yes.
Same.
Yes. Again,
I love he's like hugging his security bell.
Yeah, it's just like it's the Miami. But I am not going to be able to ring it this time, but I'm just going to hug it.
If I hug the bell, nothing bad can happen.
I'm trying to imagine this version of Sebastian being pushed against the fence by the police,
being arrested.
Getting arrested.
Oh.
It's like this. I don't know, man. This one seems too nice to get arrested, but who knows?
Also, he looks kind of in the way that many old-timey mascots do. He looks kind of sad. Like he would just look so pathetic if he got arrested.
Oh, this was
down.
This was like only the first or second year Sebastian existed.
Yes.
This is an early. Oh yeah.
This is like the beginnings of Sebastian. So yeah, this is something that I had to throw in for Jordan because I know Jordan loves old mascots. Also,
I do.
Some more Jordan and Beth pandering. So Beth, I told you I didn't pander earlier, but I am pandering now to you. Here are some gratuitous band picks. So we got we got the UM bandsters boost school spirit as they give an enthusiastic reception to football players appearing for a pregame warm up.
Hey, it's the rare college band pick that is oops all woodwinds. I spy 1 saxophone, a bunch of clarinets, and some piccolos.
Hell yeah.
But then the pick below that is band members play a mean trombone in a practice session in the new band hall.
We gotta talk about kid number 3 really needs to work on those horn angles. Buddy, you gotta play down. No one wants that directly in your face, I promise.
Is anybody using a trigger or are we pre-trigger?
This is pre-trigger. 58 would have been, to have a trigger, you would have needed a real fancy. Some trombones have a trigger on them, a valve that means that instead of having to play things in 6th and 7th position, you play them 1st and 2nd. It does other things. It does other things too. It's called an F. It switches the instrument into the key of F, basically. Right. But what most people need to know is it stops you from having to do a lot of like weird stuff. All the way right.
And it's a rotary valve, unlike the piston valves that you see in a trombone. It's closer, or in a trumpet, it's closer to what you see in horns.
Yeah. Okay.
And so back then, you mostly use what they call pea shooters, which are these little like tenor trombones that are tiny, and I say tiny, but they're normal, and they don't have the extra gear.
So I wanted to note here, the band also, in our never-ending quest to try to get Cuban listeners to the podcast, the band also traveled in 1959 to Cuba. They were a guest of Fidel Castro, the Castro government.
I'm sorry?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
I was going to say, from looking at the picture, I was sort of wondering what was going on there before I read the caption, and it is exactly what I thought it was.
I need you to read these captions for me, Commish.
Okay. All right.
What?
Hurricanette promotes goodwill as he attempts to teach rebel fighter in Cuba the art of twirling baton. The band visited Havana in March.
Hey, you're fighting for your life, guys. Let's try this. Here's my baton.
So this one says Hurricanette. Then in the picture next, it says pretty Hurricanette, Carolyn Lewis. Explains band program to rebels. Band was guest of Castro government.
These rebels do not give a shit. Just so we're real clear here. They are not interested in what she's selling.
One of them is. The one guy on the left is like looking pretty interested.
Yeah.
They're fighting the fucking government, and Miami's sending down their band as guests. The fuck
The
are
Miami
we doing
band
in
is on a
58?
peacekeeping mission, I guess. I don't know.
No, it seems like the Miami band pretty explicitly supported Castro at this point in time.
I don't know.
No, there's no other way.
They're invited guests of Castro's government.
There's literally no other way to say
Look,
that.
this is if we have caused an international incident.
This was before the
by
embargo.
going through
It's
the
fine.
1959 yearbook. I'm sorry.
There were only 10,000 Cubans in Miami in the mid 50s.
So
that number has gone up slightly.
So here's like the University of Miami band. They got the drum here. This was fully uniformed here. Then there's this one thing at the Gator Bowl when the 1 in 7 Miami band was out there. And I got to know, how complicated is this formation? It says Gator Bowl fans are treated to a complicated formation as band of the hour, and the Hurricanettes perform. It just looks like a...
In 58, this would have been very impressive.
Okay.
Yes. Almost as impressive as the fact that if you look in the picture above that, look just up and to the right of the drum, and you'll see they are marching a French horn.
Oh, they are marching a French horn, aren't they? Yes. Yeah, that would have been moderately impressive, Commish, because that kind of circular thing was not really...
Yeah, bands did lines. Bands did not do curves, and bands certainly didn't do clover leaves.
These are teardrops on the edges too. It's actually nice in between. It's almost symmetrical, almost correctly symmetrical. It's nice in between the the hashes. I'm whatever Miami's selling, I'm buying.
Right.
Gator Bowl fans are treated to complicated formation as band of the hour and Hurricanettes perform.
That's right.
The pretty ones.
Friend of the show and French horn player.
It didn't
has
say
just told
pretty
me that the
Hurricanettes.
trigger trombone started in
normal
1839. So
never mind then. Okay.
Cool.
So but when were they common though? I know they were back sure, rotary valves existed in 1839, but when were they common? I'm really stuck on the Castro supporting Miami band.
And then I was like, I'm trying to distract you after this with band formations. But he's like, I gotta go back to this.
I gotta swing back. Anyways.
But that's all I got for Miami.
I guess accepting an invitation doesn't necessarily mean endorsement.
No, you're right. It's
all I'm hearing is that the entire I think we can attribute the entirety of the long-term nature of Castro's regime to the Miami Hurricanes band.
Mm-hmm. I'm thinking, Beth, because you and I are going to need to start cashing in on some parts of our lives that we no longer need or use. We start a travel business for bands, but we only go to places that are currently in rebellion against their government. Band trip to Burma. I'm just saying.
And so we're going to end the podcast.